Sources close to the investigation say a woman is in custody after allegedly pulling the trigger.
Happy Monday, son. Today is a fresh start to this week, and you can start off strong. Always remain yourself. You are the coolest, smartest, and funniest kid I know. I love you so much, and you make me so proud. Have a great day. Mummy loves you. Love, Mummy.
The deadly shooting happened this morning right here along Cermak near State after loved ones of the victim say she had just dropped her son at school.
Those were the last words 31-year-old Romeca Meeks ever wrote to her son, tucked carefully into his lunch bag. It was meant to be a note of encouragement for his day at school. Instead, it became her final message, a mother's last expression of love before her life was cut short in an act of jealousy and violence. On September 8th, 2025, in Chicago, what should have been a routine school drop-off turned into a tragedy. Romika was ambushed by her ex-boyfriend Carlos Loy and his new girlfriend. Carlos reportedly put her in a chokehold while the new girlfriend pulled the trigger. This is a heartbreaking story of Romeca Meeks, a devoted mother, a woman whose final act was to remind her son his worth, and a victim of domestic violence that spiraled into murder. Stay tuned as we reveal everything about this case. Drop a comment and let me know what you think about this story. Welcome to our channel. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Like and share this video to help raise awareness. And spread caution. Let's begin. Romika was a 31-year-old mother, deeply devoted to her son. Friends and relatives describe her as a woman who carried joy even through struggle. Her Facebook posts reflected pride in her little boy, often filled with photos, encouragement, and reflections of her love. Those close to her say she was working toward becoming a nurse, a career path chosen not just for stability, but because she wanted to care for others. That ambition was in line with her personality, giving, nurturing, and always looking out for the people around her. Like many young mothers, she juggled responsibilities. Her days revolved around school runs, errands, and planning for a better future. Her handwritten note to her son shows what mattered most. Not material things, but emotional strength. She wanted him to know he was the coolest, smartest, and funniest kid she knew. She wanted him to carry confidence into his day. And that note now stands as proof of her character. Even on what turned out to be her last morning, her focus was on her son's growth, happiness, and self-worth. For Romika, life hadn't been easy. She had separated from her child's father, and like many co-parents, the relationship was complicated. But those who knew her say she tried to keep things peaceful for her son's sake. What she couldn't control was the hostility from the other side, and that hostility would escalate into tragedy. At the center of this story is Romika's relationship with her ex-boyfriend, Carlos Lozo's Way. Their relationship had deteriorated badly. Reports confirmed that Romika had filed for and obtained a restraining order against him. That legal step indicates that she felt unsafe, that his presence or actions create a real threat to her well-being. Restraining orders are supposed to act as a barrier. On paper, they create distance and provide law enforcement with grounds to intervene if the order is violated. But in practice, they often fail. A piece of paper cannot physically stop someone intent on harm. That failure is painfully evident here. Despite the restraining order, Carlos was there at the school that morning, not only present, but actively restraining Romika in a chokehold during the attack. Adding to the tension was Carlos's new girlfriend, Holly Johnson. She and Romika reportedly had ongoing conflict, fueled by jealousy and the struggle over shared ties to Carlos. Holly was a concealed carry license holder, legally allowed to carry a firearm, but what she did that morning went far beyond any legal right of protection. The dynamic between the three, ex-partners bound by a child and a new partner entering the mix, created a volatile triangle. What should have been a private matter of co-parenting and boundaries turned into public violence. Romika did what many women are advised to do. She sought legal protection. But in the end, the system could not keep her safe. September 8th, 2025, began like any other Monday for Romika. She packed her son's lunch, slipped her handwritten note inside, and walked him to school. Parents in Chicago's South Loop were doing the same, dropping off kids, exchanging goodbyes, starting their week. But what should have been routine was interrupted. As Romika arrived, her ex, Carlos, was waiting. Witnesses reported that an argument quickly escalated. Before she could escape, Carlos grabbed her, putting her in a chokehold. Amid the struggle, Holly Johnson went to her car, retrieved a firearm, and returned. At point-blank range, in the presence of families and children, she fired. The bullet struck Romika in the face, specifically her chin and in her thigh. She collapsed. Panic erupted. Children screamed. Parents scrambled to get kids inside the building. The area, meant to be safe, became a crime scene. Emergency responders were called immediately. Romika was rushed to Stroger Hospital in critical condition. Doctors fought to save her, but the injuries were too severe. She was later pronounced dead. Witnesses were shaken. For those who saw it unfold, the image of a mother being shot in front of her child's school will not be easily forgotten. For her son, the trauma is unimaginable. He began his school day with a loving note and ended it without his mother.
What do you tell a kid when you just drop me off? How do you just say she's not here anymore? How do you explain it? It's so sad you can't even just think straight. I can't even get my words out just thinking about it bad happening right here by us.
Police arrived quickly and detained Holly Johnson. According to reports, she claimed she acted in self-defense, pointing to her license to carry as justification. But witness accounts, along with video footage, paint a different story. Romika wasn't armed. She was being restrained by Carlos at the time of the shooting. The notion of self-defense collapses against the reality that the victim had no weapon and no chance to escape. Carlos's role in the attack also drew scrutiny. By holding Romika down, he directly enabled the shooting. Authorities are investigating his accountability, even as Holly remains the primary suspect. The case now sits in the justice system, where prosecutors will have to prove intent, coordination, and responsibility. For Romika's family, though, the facts are painfully clear. This wasn't self-defense. This was an ambush. Section 6. Media coverage and public reaction almost equals 200 words. The crime made headlines across Chicago and quickly spread nationally. What captured people's hearts most was that note, the last words of a mother to her child. It went viral, shared across social media, not as a spectacle, but as a symbol of love interrupted by violence. At the same time, disturbing videos of the shooting circulated online. Romika's family pleaded with the public not to share the graphic footage. They wanted her remembered for her life, not for the violent images of her death. Public reaction was swift. Outrage over the failure of protection orders, sympathy for her son, and demands for justice. Romeca Meeks' death highlights 3 painful lessons. First, restraining orders alone are not enough. Victims need more robust protection, from law enforcement follow-ups to community-based interventions. Second, domestic disputes, when fueled by jealousy and control, can escalate in public with devastating consequences. We need stronger systems of early intervention to prevent escalation. Finally, this tragedy is a reminder of love's enduring power. Romika's final act was not fear, but encouragement. Her note proves that even in her last mourning, she thought only of building her son up. That love is her legacy. A note of love, tucked into a lunchbox, meant to inspire a child to starve a week. Hours later, the mother who wrote it was gone. Romeca Meeks' story is heartbreaking, but is also a call for awareness, for reform, and for compassion toward those caught in cycles of violence. Her son will forever carry that note, a final gift of love, and a reminder that his mother believed in him, even when the world failed her. What do you think could have been done differently to protect Romika? Do you believe restraining orders provide enough protection, or do we need stronger measures? Share your thoughts below. Romika's love deserves to be remembered, and her story deserves to be heard.